Hello, my name is Ashley Wally, and I'm a student at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. I am currently seeking a Bachelor of Arts in Elementary Education to become a teacher in the Fairbanks North Star Borough. Upon acceptance to my degree, I sat down to decide the route by which I would be taking to complete my degree in a timely manner. I was disappointed to see so many classes that I did not, at the time, believe would be necessary for my degree. I became very frustrated that there were so many that I did not find necessary required for my completion and admittance into my internship year. Come the spring of 2013, I began my courses in early childhood development, which made total sense considering I was going into childhood development education, as well as did I take History of Alaska, an anthropology course titled Native Cultures of Alaska. These two I wasn't so sure about. You must know, I was born and raised in Payson, Utah up until my high school career began. Upon graduation, it was not yet a requirement for high school students to complete a course in Alaska studies. Many of you may not know, but it is now a requirement that I believe went into effect in 2004, 2006 from what I remember. But needless to say, I did not have to take it, and thus, upon graduation, the only things that I knew about Alaska were that of what I had experienced. I did not know any history, and I was perfectly happy that way. Horrible to say. So why is it important that I need to take these courses when I was apparently getting along just fine without the knowledge that they would soon provide? In my first education course, it really hit me how culturally diverse that the state is, and importance was being stressed on how important it would be for me as a teacher in the Fairbanks North Star Borough, or all of Alaska for that matter, to become culturally inclusive. With this, in an article I found during my research, my whole new idea was summed up to be standardized curriculums and testing of the one-size-fits-all approach is an inadequate approach in the Alaska classroom, and it fails to provide Alaska Natives a culturally relevant educational experience. I would need to become a culturally responsive educator in order to excel in the Alaska classroom. My question was, is the University of Alaska Fairbanks providing me the necessary education in order to prepare me to become a well-rounded and culturally adaptive, thus successful elementary school teacher? First off, according to the Alaska Standards for Culturally Responsive Schools, which was adopted by the Assembly of Alaska Native Educators in 1998, a culturally responsive educator is one that recognizes the validity and integrity of the traditional knowledge system, utilizes elders' expertise in multiple ways in their teaching, provides opportunities and time for students to learn in settings where local cultural knowledge and skills are naturally relevant, provides opportunities for students to learn through observation and hands-on demonstration of cultural knowledge skills. I'm pretty big on believing in hands-on. Adheres to cultural and After all, I did grow up in a construction family where I spent much of my time with my aunts and uncles, my grandpa, out on the fields, moving rocks so that it didn't hurt the equipment. That work came before my schoolwork. I was a very big hands-on learner, and we were a very big family. Family came first in all things. Next off, a culturally responsive educator adheres to cultural and intellectual property rights that pertain to all aspects of the local knowledge that they are addressing, as well as continues to involve themselves in learning about the local culture. Is the program that I'm enrolled in going to make me just that, a cultural responsive educator? With a minimum of 130 credit hours and the 4 components I believe that my time spent in the classroom as an intern come my internship year will help to prepare me for what would soon be coming my way. According to the Alaska Department of Labor and Workforce Development, the demographic profile, as you can see for the Fairbanks North Star Borough, shows American Indian or Alaska Natives to be the second highest populated race. What this means to me is that I would need to be able to relate to the experiences and culture of this large group of people that would be largely prevalent in my classrooms throughout my career. According to work done by sociocultural theorist Lev Vygotsky, student learning is largely influenced by values, norms, and the socialization practices of the culture and community by which they grew up in. My time at the University of Alaska Fairbanks in the elementary education degree program will successfully prepare me to be culturally responsive, well-rounded, and ultimately a sexful. Lev Vygotsky spent most of his career enhancing the knowledge and idea that the development of children is largely related to their experiences in social and cultural settings. I found that to be one of the theories that I believe in the most so far that I've learned about. Already I've learned of different groups of Alaska Natives and characteristics that define them. I have learned of the subsistence way of life that Alaska Natives have led, and some still do lead, as well as the traditions that they hold in terms of conservation and management, health and nutrition, and their art and religion. Children grow up with a hands-on experience when it comes to every aspect of daily living. From early ages, these children learn from their parents, their grandparents, their aunts and their uncles, as well as their elders. Life is largely community-oriented, and ties to family are strong. One article that I read was about the culture camps. I found it largely interesting because I could relate it to an experience that I'll talk about here in a minute. At these culture camps, children were taken to old native villages and were provided the opportunity to experience living a subsistence lifestyle. They performed daily operations and tasks. They listened to elders speak on the importance of life and what it has to offer. This hands-on approach was largely significant on the learning styles of Alaska Native children. They were interested in learning about their background and culture, and the information, as one elder states, can go in their pocket for a later date. I think the largest thing that I took away from the idea of culture camps was they hands-on got to experience these things rather than just sitting in a classroom listening to things that they may or may not be understanding because they may or may not be relating them to past experiences. This had a lot to do with my idea of pioneer days. When I was in third grade, this happens to be one of my biggest memories from elementary school. We went about making handmade clothing so that we could dress up as pioneers. We participated in preparing traditional meals and built replicas of covered wagons. We also learned how to square dance. I really enjoyed this activity because it just put everything into perspective, things that I had known about the state of Utah, this is. And, I actually got to practice these things that all these people had once did. It just, actually applying the history to me made it a lot of fun. And the fact that that's something that stands out to me today is something that I would like to be able to do for not just Alaska Native students. We live in a very diverse world, so it's very important for everyone to be able to live in the diverse world and to accept different cultures and diversities. And I think that it's largely important for students to begin doing that and to begin understanding in their elementary education years. The history of Alaska plays a dramatically large role on the life of Alaska Native people when it comes to politics, the economy, and much more. Over time, the lives of Alaska Natives have been rearranged, and it has required them to adapt and give way to much of their cultural heritage. As Alaska Natives begin to work towards regaining much of their heritage, they have become largely involved in many different aspects of life as well as education. Providing insight as to their traditions, educators in schools can learn and seek to provide a culturally adaptive and responsive environment that provides a culturally relevant experience. Addressing knowledge and concepts that Alaska Native children already know and understand, as well as using teaching styles that match the learning styles of students, provides a comfortable and successful learning environment. This is successful for both the teacher and the school, as well as success on the student's end. As a teacher in the Fairbanks North Starborough school system, I look forward to seeking to use the knowledge acquired of the history of the state and its inhabitants, as well as the wide array of teaching styles, to provide an adequate learning environment that addresses the needs and learning styles of the Alaska Native students present in my classroom. Without taking these classes in Alaska history and anthropology of Alaska Natives, this would not be something that I would be able to do. Overall, I believe that the University of Alaska Fairbanks in the elementary education degree program will successfully prepare me to be a culturally responsive, well-rounded, and successful elementary school teacher. Thank you.